Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Damola and today I'm going to be teaching you how to draft a basic bodice pattern. Basic bodice pattern is very important to any beginner because it is like the basics of pattern drafting. So if this sounds like something that you are interested in, please do well to keep watching to the end of the video. And also don't forget to click on the subscribe button and also turn on the post notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video. So let's get right into the tutorial. So the first thing I did was to rule my starting line. That is where all my measurement is going to start from. Then on that line, I went ahead to input my shoulder measurement of 8 inches. Then I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. Then I'm going to go ahead and input my neck measurement of 3.5 by 3 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect my shoulder slope to my neckline, and from my shoulder slope I'm going to take all my vertical measurements, my armhole, my bust point, my half length, my blouse length, and I'm going to be adding 2 inch for my hemming allowance. So this is basically just me marking out those lines. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and input my hip measurement from my starting line down to the hem line to create a block. The hip we are working with is 40. 40 divided by 4 is 10. So I'm going to measure 10 all the way down. And I'm going to make a straight line. Moving on, I'm going to input my shoulder measurements on my armhole line so I can have a straight line to give me my armhole curve. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and divide whatever I have on my armhole into 2 by folding my tape. I'm going to find the midpoint, and from that midpoint, I'm going to go in by 1 inch. Then on my armhole line, I'm going to go ahead and input my bust measurement. And from there, I'm going to connect back to that 1 inch on the midpoint and back to my shoulder slope. Then I went ahead to label all my vertical lines, my armhole, my bust point, my half length, my blouse length, and my hem line. Then I'm going to go ahead and input my nipple to nipple measurement of 4 inches on my bust point down to my blouse length. And I'm going to make a straight line. Now to form our dart, I'm going to go down by 1 inch from my bust point because the dart for the front will not be starting from the bust point. Then on my half length, I'm going to measure ½ inch on both sides of my nipple to nipple measurement, and I'm going to be connecting that to the 1 inch I came down by from the bust point. Then moving on, I'm going to measure the distance between that 1 inch I came down by from my bust point and my dart leg, and whatever my result is, I'm going to remove 1 inch from it. Why? Because my dart for the lower part of my diamond dart needs to stop at least 2 inch before my hem line. So if probably you measured yours and after minusing 1 inch, your dart is stopping about 1 inch before your hem line, or on your hem line, you have to go up by 2 inch because your dart needs to stop at least 2 inch before your hem line. In my case here, I had 5 inches. After minusing 1 inch, I am left with 4 inch. So I'm inputting the 4 inch on the lower part of my diamond dart. Now we are going to go ahead and input our waist measurement on our half length line. But remember that we had 1 inch dart intake on our half length, so we are going to go ahead and replace that. Then after that, we are going to go ahead and connect it to our armhole line and to our hem line. I am not going to be taking my hip measurement on the hem line because if you remember, we made our block using our hip measurement. So me connecting to my hem line automatically means I'm connecting to my hip line. Then you can go ahead and blend all your sharp edges. So that is basically all for the front pattern, and you can go ahead and cut it out. But remember that this is just a block pattern, it is not a working pattern, which means that when you want to cut it on your fabric, you have to add your allowance on the side, or better still, you add your allowance on your pattern paper before cutting it out. So let's move to the back pattern. So before we start, your back block is almost the same thing as your front block. The only difference is that for your back, you have a zipper allowance, and also the way you curve your armhole is totally different. And also there's a difference in the way you take your dart, so let's get right into it. So after inputting your back measurement, you are going to go ahead and input your neck measurement of 3.5 by 3 inches, and you're going to go ahead and draw out your neckline. Then after that, we are basically going to repeat the same thing we did for the front by going down by 1 inch from our shoulder slope, and from our shoulder slope we are going to go ahead and take all our vertical measurements. But this time around, all our vertical measurement is going to start after our zipper allowance. Then you can go ahead to input your hip measurement from your starting line down to your hem line and make a straight line to form your block. So this is basically me just doing the same thing I did for the front. Then after that, I'm going to go ahead and extend the lines that were not enough, and I'll go ahead and label each of the lines. Then I'm going to go ahead and input my shoulder measurement on my armhole line, and I'm going to mark a straight line. Now the difference between the armhole for the back and for the front is that after getting my midpoint, I'm going to go in by half an inch, and I'm going to take my bust measurement and I'll connect it back to that half inch and back to my shoulder slope. Now you're going to go ahead and input your nipple to nipple measurement from your bust point all the way down to your blouse length, and you make a straight line. Now you're going to go ahead and take in half inch dart on both sides of your nipple to nipple measurement on your half length. Now the only difference here is that we are not coming down by 1 inch from our bust point, we are connecting directly to our bust point. So we are going to go ahead and measure the distance between our bust point to our half length dart, and we are going to minus 1 inch from it, and we are going to input our answer on the lower part of our diamond dart. But in my case, I had 6 inch. After minusing 1 inch from it, I'm left with 5 inch. If I go ahead and input that 5 inch, my dart is going to stop 1 inch before my hem line, which is totally wrong. So I went ahead to minus 1 inch from that 5 inch, so I am left with 4 inches, and I input that on the lower part of my diamond dart to complete my dart. Then you can go ahead and input your waist measurement, which is going to start after your zipper allowance, and also remember to return your dart. Then you can go ahead to cut it out, and that will be all for the back. But remember that the back pattern is also a block pattern, it is not a working pattern, which means that you have to add your allowance on the sides when you want to cut on your fabric, or better still, you add your allowance on your pattern paper before cutting it out. And that brings us to the end of today's tutorial. If you like this video, please do well to give this video a thumbs up, like and share, and also don't forget to turn off the notification bell so you get notified whenever I post a new video, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.